Hello and welcome to the King's Forum podcast show. Back with the second episode of The Brotherhood with two of my good friends now, I'll call them. We established that over time, even though we've never met in person. So Mike, nice to have you back.
Good to be back. Thanks, Mike. Good to see you, Tony.
Yeah.
Tony, welcome back. Nice to see you as well.
Yeah, and it was good to see the two mics.
Eminem, just say Eminem.
M&M's in the Brotherhood.
Eminem, yeah. Yeah, good to see you both. Yeah.
I thought it's important for us just to give a male perspective on what's been going on with Mason Greenwood right now and kind of our feelings to it and our thoughts on it. And what I will make clear is we're not trying to say he's innocent, he's guilty, or what have you. Yes, charges have been dropped, but we're not on here condoning if something has happened towards his girlfriend. I know the audio was quite damning when it came out online, so I'm not here to just be protecting him and saying that everything he was okay and he's innocent of anything, because we don't know that. So all we're doing is our opinion, because we suffer with mental health, and I'm sure he's in a bad place right now with all that's going on. So it's just about a male perspective, because he's going through a hard time, and people would say it's deserved, but we don't know because we weren't there. We can just go off what the information that was put out. So as I said, charges have been dropped. We don't know whether he's innocent or guilty. It just never went that far for it to be tried. So, you know, when it goes out there, I don't want people to be jumping on this video and thinking we're supporting any type of sexual assault or rape towards any woman or person. So that's important just to get that out there before we start giving our opinions on anything. So Tony, you want to roll before I start recording? So your thoughts on Mason Greenwood, and do you think he should be given a second chance?
I think he should be given a second chance, even though there's no smoke without fire. But I think we need to really sort of collate all the evidence. And I think that the trouble is with the media, whether it's social media or anything, because he's male and he's also, well, they would class him as black or mixed race. You know, I don't know what the classification is these days, but I think there's that two-pronged approach, and I think the way the media look at, you know, the way they look at a male and they look at also a black male, I think you've got those factors to consider. And I think, you know, the narrative is always, it always tends to be negative because he's male, and also because he's black. And also I think, and the reason why I say that is because look at when the Harvey Weinstein case and the Bill Cosby, very similar things, but one was put into jail very quickly and, you know, locked away. And there's no justification whatsoever. Whereas the Harvey Weinstein case was just dragged out and dragged out and dragged out. And, you know, and you wonder why, but it's the motive of the media as well, and the people behind it. Are they trying to just stir up strife? You know, because strife between different demographics, or, you know, what is the actual motive, or is it just to basically sell? And regardless of what their motive is, I think that their motive is wrong, and it causes a lot of division. And I think the media needs to be a bit more objective and see things from a different perspective. So, you know, that, and I don't want to offend anyone, but I think, you know, basically I think they just need to be a bit more objective and not try and sort of look at it from a certain point of view. Yeah, so that's what, you know, that's my feelings.
Yeah, I agree. What I will say, unfortunately, there's a lot of conscious, unconscious bias within the media.
Yeah.
And as you said, a young black footballer, and footballers in general, if you just look at kind of they have this negative feeling towards footballers as a whole, because they're coming there, and this is what I think anyway, because they're coming from the backgrounds, and they're not, a lot of them are not underprivileged backgrounds, and football makes them a millionaire, so they're not born into it. I think there's this whole, why do footballers get paid this amount and they don't deserve it, they're just kicking a ball. And listen, if they were in that situation and people and football clubs are willing to pay you X amount of money per week, you're going to say, no, I don't deserve it. So it's just interesting how their mindsets. And if you think about the types of people who are in media and their backgrounds, you know, middle class, a lot of it, not all of it, of course, white middle class. So you've got, you know, these minorities earning millions from kicking a ball around. So there's a lot of that to it. There's a lot of this, oh, they're not deserving it type thing, to why a lot of their press they put out is negative towards these individuals. So looking at that, and like I said again, I'm not saying he didn't do anything, because there's no smoke without fire, like Tony touched on. I just believe it's not going to happen, by the way, because there's more factors involved in this, because it's the biggest football club in the world, or the second biggest football club in the world in Man United, Mason Greenwood plays for. There's sponsorships. There's, you know, these brands don't want their name to be tarnished.
No.
So remember, he lost his Nike deal straight away as soon as the charges came out against him. Nike pulled out, and they used to sponsor him. So there's more at play here. It's not so simple as let's give him another chance because he's just a young guy. Unfortunately, money's involved, sponsorships, the reputation of a football club. So I believe, unfortunately, my opinion, he won't be given another chance at a football club, and we won't see him at that type of level for many years until it dies down completely. And that's very sad for a 22-year-old that I'm saying that, but unfortunately, I feel he's going to be made example of here, and sponsorships and the club won't want to be associated with a player like that because of all negative media. Remember, we're looking at IG, Twitter, their accounts. You know, people are going to start unfollowing them. It's all money. Unfortunately, what I'm talking about, you know, someone, it's a shame. You know, this poor young man, you know, he's just another football player to them at the end of the day. He's not, you know, this big company in Man United Football Club, you know, won't let this one person damage or taint their image. You know, even if he is not guilty, or we don't know, but charges were dropped, so he's not been charged with anything. So unfortunately, I think that's the outcome. But, you know, I just feel for him because I'm sure he's in a dark place right now, and what happens going forward isn't going to help that. So I just hope he's got the support around him to get him through this, because as I said, and he gets the help he needs. So if he did do something, obviously we heard the audio, so as I said, there must have been something that's happened. We don't know exactly, but I hope he gets the help he needs. He sees a therapist, and he gets, whether it's anger management or whatever down the line, he gets the support he needs to move forward, so these type of situations don't happen again to him or to people around him. Mike, what's your thoughts on it?
Unfortunately, I agree with a lot what you're saying, Mike, to be honest, in relation to, I don't think he'll ever play for Manchester United again. I doubt he'll play in the top level, like you say, until a very, very long time. Unfortunately, this day and age, because of technology, social media, the power money has, he is just a number like any of us. And when we come into we're talking about the media. I don't even really want to get started on the media, but they influence the world.
Yes,
they influence the world, and without jumping into rabbit holes, the media are the biggest liars, the biggest causes of pretty much everything. So do I feel for him? Yes, I do. Is the smoke without fire? He certainly isn't. There's two sides to every story.
Yeah.
When I first heard them recordings, that was it for me. When I first heard them recordings, I was shocked. And I thought, you know, he's done it.
Yeah.
But the charges have been dropped. Yeah. So it's fair game. And unfortunately, because of his position, he's a young black male. He's a footballer for Manchester United. He's lived a high life. People are jealous.
Yeah.
The sponsorship deals. Once you get targeted with rapist, I can only tell you this from the areas I live in, you're done.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it gets dropped, that is sticking with you for the rest of your life until you go somewhere where nobody knows you. And that's just my experience. And that's the shocking, dark, sad truth about it. Put yourself in the limelight, there's no coming back. No. He can go anywhere in the world and people will notice him.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, regardless of what anyone's done, no one deserves that amount of beating and pain for the rest of his life. He's got nowhere to go to. He looks on his phone, he's all over his phone, he's all over the news. He walks outside his house, everyone's there. I do feel for the guy from a mental health point of view.
Yeah.
I hope he really gets the support he needs, because if he doesn't, it's not even worth thinking about what's going to happen to him next.
I totally agree. Tony, any last thoughts on Mason Greenwood?
Well, I totally agree with Mike in regards to the media, and he's 100% right. It is the media. They are just so divisive, and like what Mike said, without going down the rabbit holes, I mean, Mason's mental health is just going to be at an all-time low, because you know, people like, with all this press and all this coverage, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into depression or goes, it feels suicidal, and it's just, I think, like what Mike said, it's disgusting, and the way they can twist the narrative. Just going back to with the Euro finals, when Saka and the other black guy missed the penalty, it was the way the media reported it. And they didn't have to report all the hatred because I think it's
adding fuel to the fire.
It does add fuel to the fire, and it just adds, and it stirs up so much strife and
segregation. Hatred. You touched on it before, Tony. I do believe, if we all got along, everyone, why would they want that? It's as if they want constant divisions between people, whether it's religion, whether it's race, whether it's your sexuality, your gender, all this mad stuff that's happening, which is all separate divisions, separate different people, separate camps. Do you know what I mean? It's very malicious. And you're right. And then when during the World Cup, when Harry Kane, when he missed the penalty, then jokes about it was on the media. So it was a completely different narrative. So they know what they're doing, like what Mike says. They know what they're doing. They like to just stir up strife and hatred. And I 100% agree with Mike. It is the media. It is the media, and this is why it's so important for things like this, Michael and Tony, because three men coming together. Because you know what, mate, if I went in the place I am now and had people like yourselves to be able to discuss this with openly and honestly and open-minded, I don't know where I'd be if my mental health was shot at the minute. The stuff that's going on, that's why it's so important now, because people who are vulnerable are easily led. I was. If I'm vulnerable and I want help, or I think this is the best way, I'm going. If someone's showing me, I'm going. Now I'm in a place where I can see things for what they are. Thank God. But we live in a very, very dark world, unfortunately. And that's why this is so important that everyone gets the mental health right.
Yeah.
You know, see the world through your proper eyes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I totally agree. As I said, I hope he's got the support, Mason, that we've got in our lives. And as I said, when we were 21, 22, you know, with all of that, taking all of that on board, like I can't imagine how he's dealing with it and how he's trying to process it. Because you're a young footballer, yes, as no smoke without fire, and he probably has issues there and needs to get therapy in regards to, you know, anger management and things like that. And I'm sure he's got some trauma that he must have experienced for him to be the way he is, or we perceived happened from this audio online and the charges originally that were brought against him. So there's got to be something there. So I can't imagine what he's going through. I just hope he has the support and he gets through it. But as I said earlier, unfortunately, it's probably the end of his career anyway at that level, and not for a number of years will he get the opportunity again. But you know, that's what I want to say on that matter. Any last thoughts, Michael?
No, we pretty much covered it. Just I hope he gets the help he needs. I hope he's got the strength to ask for the help he needs. I hope he can shut the noise off, you know, and you know, I have faith in humanity, but we're in a very dark world, and the trolls and the internet, you know, just I hope he keeps battling.
Yeah, me too. Thank you very much, guys. People, please like, share, and subscribe. See you soon. Bye.